Good morning, everyone. Before we get started today, I wanted to ask you to support one of our affiliate partners, CHOQ, C-H-O-Q. This company uses the finest organic, non-GMO ingredients in their products. Our featured product today is CHOQ Lit Powder. I use it every morning in my coffee, making it the most nutritious coffee mocha on the planet. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. To find out more, click the link below. They have sales all the time, so hurry and get yours today. Thank you. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep. I sure did. It was great. Had a little trouble getting to sleep, though. Wonder what's up with that? I guess the Lord has something special He wanted me to share with you today. So He kept me awake to download the information. I know, I'm just a bit of information. Come on, that's funny. Come on. Gork liked it. Well, I don't know yet. I'm going to try that joke on him later. Anyway. Grok. I'm sorry. He doesn't like to be called Gork. Because it rhymes with dork. And he doesn't think that he's a dork. Anyway. Today. Actually, let me back up a little bit. I heard a strange statistic the other day that there are more thoughts of suicide and more depression than there has been in the last 20 years, or since they started recording such things. So I asked the question, why? Why is that? Why is that happening? And the Lord told me. He said, because all of those little children throughout the last 20 years or so really could go back 30 or almost 40 years when it all started, is that these kids were never given the opportunity to fail. They were protected from failure. Well, because it hurt their feelings if they failed. If little Johnny couldn't kick the soccer ball into the goal, and every time he missed it, he cried, Mommy just held him up and said, "Here, let me kick it for you." And that's where we invented soccer moms. All these moms running out on the field with their little 4- and 5-year-olds kicking the soccer ball because their little child couldn't kick the soccer ball. You know, have you ever watched a chicken hatch? Or a bird hatch from an egg? Have you ever watched that? You should watch it sometimes. Did you know? Here's the thing about nature. It requires you to do things in order to make you stronger so you can be successful later in life. Do you know that if you help a chick peck out of its egg, you will decrease its lifespan? Chances are it won't survive at all. It won't survive against the other chickens. You know, chickens fight. Yeah. Humans didn't invent chicken fighting. But chickens fight all the time. They fight a lot. And if that little chick isn't given the opportunity to practice pecking itself and building up strength as it pecks out of its shell, then its chances of survival lessen greatly. Please stand by. We interrupt this program to bring you this very important announcement. This section of the presentation has been cut to fit YouTube's community guidelines. For the uncensored truth and full, unredacted briefing, hit the link below for my Rumble channel. Good Morning with REV.DR.KENLEE, where free speech still holds the line. And now, we return you to your regularly scheduled program. So, when you bypass all that stuff, when you don't allow your children to go out and play in the dirt and get dirty, when you don't allow them to go out and play sports and gets bumped around, when you don't allow them to lose, you disrupt their development to be productive, strong, healthy humans. I want you to talk to some athletes about how they got where they are. They failed a lot. Everybody that has been successful and healthy and wealthy and wise have failed and have sought out failure so they could get better. When you keep your children from failure, when you keep them from pain and anguish, when they get out of the home, they're not going to know how to deal with it. That's why there's so much. Because my little child played her heart out in soccer, but it didn't make any difference at all because everybody got a trophy. They weren't shown what right looks like, what it means to be good, what it means to have to be better. Yeah, Johnny can't read right now, but we're going to go ahead and give him, pass him on to the next grade because all of his friends will be going to that school and he'll be left behind, and he'll have to learn to read without all of his friends there. And we know how important all of his friends are. And Johnny grows up and he still can't read. And since he can't read, he can't do jobs very well. Because if you're going to work at McDonald's, you got to read the manual to learn how to make a hamburger. You got to read the policies at the store in order to understand how things operate. You have to be able to read the law in order to understand, well, I'm supposed to stay on this side of the road, and that person's supposed to stay on that side of the road, and I'm supposed to maintain my speed, and I'm not supposed to steal from others. I'm supposed to work hard to get the things that I want. You don't have to work hard just because you're from a foreign country or your skin is a different color than somebody else. You have to work hard because you have to work hard. That's part of life. That's being a human being. It's working hard to be successful. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy to anyone. And it's not supposed to. Come on. The reason why your kids are sick and unhealthy and have mental problems and can't make the distinction between right and wrong because you adults, you school teachers, you firemen, you police officers, you mothers, you fathers, you didn't teach them. It's on you. I blame you. I blame you wholeheartedly for what you did to your children by not letting them fail. By not letting them know that, hey, yeah, failure is a part of life. Everybody does it. But every time you fail, you learn something new and you get stronger. There's a philosophy that every time that something connects, every time, there's a transfer of information. Think about that. Every time something connects, something contacts, every time you run up against something, there's a transfer of information. When you're going through life, when you're riding a bicycle, and you first start riding and you fall down and you impact the concrete, there's an exchange of information. Never thought of it that way, did you? Yeah, the exchange of information is, ow, the ground is telling me that it is a lot harder than I am. And look at my skin. I'm actually allergic to it. I have this rash on my knees now. Oh, we call it road rash. Those of you who are motorcycle riders, you've seen it, you've had it done, and it's not fun. But what does it teach you? It teaches you, wow, I should not do that exact same thing again, or I'm going to end up the exact same way. But if you're not taught that, if little Johnny John is given training wheels, he stays on his bicycle all his life because he can't learn to balance because mommy doesn't want him to fall down and scrape his knees. That poor little boy. He's going to fall down and hurt his hands. I don't want that to happen to little Johnny. We'll keep his training wheels on until he's 15. And all of his friends laugh at him, which causes him to be judged because he's not strong like everybody else is. Because his mom didn't allow him to peck himself out of his shell. And his mom made him weak. And his teachers made him weak. And everybody in his community made him weak because they didn't let him fail. You need to stop that. School teachers, coaches, moms, dads. I'm not saying be mean. I'm saying develop the philosophy that we have in the Army for all your children. I know, yeah. Army's a horrible place to be. Not nowadays. It was before. Not now. So, the philosophy is coach, mentor, and train. Coach your children to be better. Mentor them and share your experiences so they know, hey, you've been there and done that. You can give them a hand. You can help them out. Right? You can help them out. Train. Teach them how to do things. Teach them what right looks like. Train. How do I shoot a basketball, Daddy? Well, here's a video game. Let me show you. No. Come on. You get out there on the basketball court and you throw the basketball around and you practice. You fail. You throw the ball up into the hoop and it misses. You follow the ball up in the hoop and it misses again. You throw the ball up in the hoop and it misses. You throw the ball up into the hoop and you make a basket. You throw the ball up and it misses. You throw the ball up and it misses. You throw the ball up and it misses. Fail, fail, fail. And eventually, the making baskets becomes more than missing baskets. And then with enough practice, you can become like the guys on the Harlem Globetrotters who can be on one side of the basketball court and back facing the other side of the basketball court and throw the ball up in the air without even looking and make a basket. Ask them how many times they failed in order to get that good. You have to let people fail. And you pick them up, dust them off, and say, okay, well, at least we learned something. Well, what did I learn, Daddy? I got these little marks on my hands. I'm allergic to the road just like you were when you were a kid. I don't want to have rash on my knees. Well, son, those are trophies that we get while we're learning how to ride a bicycle. That's right. Those are prizes that we can show off and tell our friends the story. Yeah, I remember when I was 4 years old and it was the first time I was riding on my bicycle and I got on that thing and I just started pedaling. My daddy was pushing me and then he let go and I was still going and then I realized my daddy wasn't holding me anymore and I fell down. It was great, but you know what I did? I brushed the gravel out of my sores. All the road rash that I had on my body, I brushed it all off and I got on that bicycle and I got back on it again. And now, I'm world champion in bicycle cross. Because of that day my dad let me fail. And my dad was there to pick me up. But these younger generations, you, parents, school teachers, leaders, didn't allow them to fail. You thought it was a good thing to keep them from failing, but it was not. You ruined their lives. Now when they're old enough, when they would have been prepared for life on their own, they're not. Because of you. Not because of the internet, because you gave them the internet. Not because of their peers, not because of the media, not because of what's going on in politics, not because of the representatives, not because of the president. It's because of you. Parents, teachers, educators. Because you didn't allow those people to fail. And now they're suffering because of it, because of you. Right to your face. Because of you. Now, how do you change that? Well, this next generation that's coming up, you let them fail. You let their bodies develop their own immunity. All childhood diseases none, if not any, are not fatal. They can be taken care of very well. We have the medicines and the technologies to do it. Let them get the disease. Obviously, if they're immune compromised, research that. Find out why. Why are they immune compromised? Did something happen to them when they were a baby? Did something happen to them while they were in the hospital? Perhaps they got something that damaged their immune system before it was ready. I don't know. But all childhood diseases can be taken care of very easily. Why not let them do it? Why not let them go through the process and let them peck themselves out of their shells? Let them play ball and fail. Let them get out there and kick, bite, scratch, and scream. Dust them off. Let them get back there again. Don't keep them from feeling pain. Pain's a part of life. It's better to deal with it when you're younger and your mom and dad can take care of you, isn't it? Where your mom and dad can pick you up off your feet and brush you off and say, okay, little Johnny, little Debbie, here you go. Let's keep going. Let's try. I don't want to do it anymore. It hurts. Yeah, I know it hurts. But it's not going to hurt forever. Because one day you'll be good enough to where you won't be falling down every time you kick the soccer ball. That's why those lessons are there. That's why people that grew up in those environments are much stronger and much more able to deal with life than those who weren't. So, all right. Well, I hope you take this lesson to heart and grow your kids up right and allow them to fail. Teach them. Failure is a great teacher. In fact, it's the greatest teacher. Because you always learn a lesson. Oh, yeah? Well, what did I learn? Well, you learn not to do it that way. Okay. All right. Well, I know not to do it that way. Modify it a little bit and then try it again. Modify it a little bit and try it again. Modify a little bit and try it again. And then you become successful. Too easy. Teach them when they're young. For when they are old, that teaching will not depart from them. Yeah, I slipped the word in there. All right. Well, that seems to be all that God has for you today. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. And I love you. And until we meet again, I wish you well. Hey, before you go, I wanted to remind you to click the link below to try chocolate powder. It's full of vital nutrients that'll help jumpstart your day. They have sales all the time, so hurry and get yours today. Thanks.